An esthetician's guide to using the Ordinary's glycolic acid toning solution, specifically the 7%. I love this. I put this on my face and other areas of my body all the time, but I was running low and I was like, I need to go pick this up at Ulta. And as I was doing so, I wondered why I had gone through this as quickly as I had. And I realized I use this in some untraditional ways that other people might want to know about. And as a medical SD who uses this in my underarms as well as other places, I want to share with you the ways that this can be used, especially because for the price and for what it is, it's such a great product, and how you can use this properly in your routine. First and foremost, you do want to understand that this is made of glycolic acid. Glycolic acid is an AHA, so it's a water-soluble exfoliating acid, and it's actually really, really small. It comes from sugarcane, and it can penetrate deep into the skin. If you're really prone to irritation or pigmentation, you want to patch test because this might not be right for you. But if you start low and go slow, in the words of Dr. Alexis Steffens, glycolic acid can be fantastic. Now, always follow manufacturer's directions and understand that these are some alternate uses that as a medical esthetician who's worked alongside doctors and derms, I've been able to utilize, and doctors and derms have recommended glycolic acid for other uses. But obviously, speak with your derm, speak with your SD, speak with a professional first before trying things, and always patch test. You know this by now, and there's literally a video on how to do that if you don't know how. I'd recommend on the back of the ears or the inside of the elbow. If you just search Cassandra Bankson patch testing, you can find it, but you can literally search Cassandra Bankson glycolic acid or Cassandra Bankson exfoliation, literally anything you want. Yep, I've been doing this for 13 years now. So we've probably got a video on it. If you are a curious cat, not that type of curious cat, but I mean, that works too. We stand a queen. Let's talk about the most traditional use for the glycolic acid toning solution, and it is as a toner. Now, this is a unique toner because it might not be the best for everyone every day. This specifically has a pH of 3.6. pH stands for potential hydrogen or power of hydrogen. And the lower the pH, the more acidic it is. Now, sometimes this means it can penetrate into the skin better, but this also means it can be more irritating to the skin. So if you're really irritant prone, you might want to dilute this or again, take it slow. But especially if you're someone who's had a ton of glycolic acid peels, if you've used a ton of acids in your routine, if you have really resilient skin, this can be great. Glycolic acid is best for exfoliation. It can also specifically help with pigmentation, with some skin discoloration. It can help with acne scars. And because it's exfoliating, it can even help with active acne. And if you do want to use this as a toning solution, I'd recommend getting some form of a cotton pad. You could also put this in your hand, but it is an intense toning solution. So like, you don't want it to like peel away at your palms in case you're sensitive. So I just put this on a little cotton pad. The ones that I use are these from Japan. They have a little frog on them. I love them so much. Another great option is Pyeongkang Yule or like any of those cotton rounds that you can get at a store. And you literally just want to take this and swipe it across the specific area of your face. For me, I get a lot of sebaceous filaments, so I love using this on my nose. The glycolic acid can help exfoliate and get those little, they almost look like little amber boogers inside of your pores. Those are sebaceous filaments, and this can help. Now, if you're prone to blackheads are a type of acne. They're specifically an open comedone, and glycolic acid can help by exfoliating. Now, I just use this and I swipe it on those problem areas. If you really want to and you're not worried about dryness, you can swipe this all over the face. And again, as long as you remember to wear a sunscreen during the day, you can use this on the neck. I would only recommend this for night use. Again, I'd recommend it a couple times a week if you're advanced. You could use it every day if you're advanced, which I have done in the past, but not necessarily recommending that. For most people, once or twice a week for exfoliation at night and then using a sunscreen in the day is the best way to go. Because glycolic acid is an AHA, it's also much more hydrating. So if you apply this with a nice water-based moisturizer or like a sleeping pack, like a sleep mask after, you can really replenish the skin with hydration as the exfoliation starts to work. But if you are oily, you might not need that much hydration. What's right for you is going to be variable. Some of my favorite things to partner this with are some K-Beauty sleeping packs. There's specifically a ceramide sleeping pack from Purito, one of my favorite K-Beauty products of all time. And that is just so gentle on the skin that it really buffers the intensity of this nicely. Now, what if you don't want to use this in a traditional skincare sense? This is intense. This is from The Ordinary, but this is something that I first started using on my face. Then I started using on my armpits. And now, yes, I've been trying it on my scalp. That's right. If you get a lot of scalp buildup, especially if you're someone who doesn't wash your hair or your scalp regularly, once or twice a week, you might end up getting a little bit of buildup, a little bit of gunk. And using a glycolic acid or an exfoliating acid on the scalp area can be a great option. Now, you do want to be careful. You don't want this to run down and into your eyes. You, of course, want to talk to your doctor or derm first. But if you do need that scalp exfoliation, especially if you feel like there's a lot of crusties, this can help. Do you remember that scalp buildup, or what is sometimes referred to as scalp cheese, is different than dandruff. If you have dandruff or eczema or psoriasis or other scalp conditions, you want to get those seen and treated professionally. Specifically, if you've got seborrheic dermatitis, get that checked out. This isn't going to help. But if you just need some light exfoliation, and if you are wearing hats and staying protected from the sun, this can be a really great scalp invigorating treatment. Now, I've also spoken with some dermatologists and some trichologists, basically hair experts. Dermatologists are doctors who care for the integumentary system, which includes the skin and the hair, and trichologists have a specific focus on the hair. But both have noted that certain acids, especially on the scalp, whether it's salicylic or glycolic, can be a way to stimulate hair growth if used appropriately and not excessively. When doing this on the scalp, I would always dilute it, so I make sure my hair is wet first and then I kind of stripe it in, make sure it doesn't get down into my eyes. I leave it on for like just a minute or two while I kind of condition the ends of my hair, and then I rinse it out. Because it's water soluble, it doesn't stick around, and it does make my hair look and feel shiny, but most importantly, I do feel like it invigorates my scalp. Now, something else you can use this for is the armpits. That's right. Now, exfoliating in the underarms is not always a good idea, but there are ways to do it, and honestly, I don't even recommend this for exfoliation. I recommend this for the way that it makes your armpits smell, which is not bad. You see, what causes our armpits to smell is literally bacteria eating our sweat. That bacteria that lives there naturally starts to create waste products, literally little microscopic farts and poops, and our sweat starts to stink. That's why if you change your diet, your sweat may smell different. Now, there are many different things that you can use as your armpits for deodorizing. Remember that deodorizing is different than an antiperspirant. And do remember that a deodorant is literally a de or a not odor, as in smell. It's a non-smellorant, whereas an antiperspirant is an anti or not, and to perspirate or perspire, that's the sweat. So an antiperspirant is different than a deodorant. But when it comes to the deodorizing properties, I use panoxyl in my pits, and in the past, I have used this. There are dermatologists who recommend this as well. And for some people, derms will recommend using an acid in the underarm areas if you do have that kind of smell that you don't like, and if you do have dark underarms or pigmentation in this area that you want to get rid of. Now, based on the doctors and derms that I've worked with, a lot have said don't exfoliate the underarms, especially because it can make chafing and irritation worse. I am of the thought that you shouldn't really exfoliate your underarms, and if you're worried about color, you can use something like IPL or vitamin C instead of an exfoliator. And again, it's not bad to have dark underarms. It's not something you have to be embarrassed of or get rid of. But if you do want to repurpose this in other ways, or if it just didn't work for your face, ask your doctor or your derm, and it might be a fit here to help get rid of smell. Or if you have curly hair like me, you may be prone to ingrown hairs. Exfoliating helps to get rid of ingrowns, and glycolic acid is an exfoliant that can help. So some experts recommend this. I've actually been using IPL on this armpit and not this armpit, and as you can see, I actually have some irritation on this one, whereas this one is totally fine. I shaved recently, so I'm obviously not going to put this on. You should not use a glycolic acid or any sort of acid on your armpits or your legs or anywhere on your body after you have shaved. But a couple days between shaving, specifically after you've shaved, it's kind of grown out and you have a little bit of buildup there, you could use this or just a swipe of this to help get rid of some of that bacteria that's causing that sweat to stink, and to help potentially brighten a little bit and get rid of some of that crustiness that lives in that area. I'd love to know if you also have other ways that you like to use exfoliating acids, specifically the Ordinary's Glycolic Acid Toning Solution. Just remember that this is like a powerful puppy. It's inexpensive, it's affordable, and it's really easily accessible, which is why it's one of my favorites, and I do recommend it to others all the time. With great power comes great responsibility, which is why you need to make sure that you're using this and patch testing it appropriately. But now that you've watched this, you're a skintellectual. Now you understand. Make sure that you go back and rewatch this or take notes. Literally send this to yourself in a text or an email so you can save it for later. But try this out if it's not currently in your routine and if you think you can handle it, because for a lot of people's skin, this is a savior. Overall, always remember to stay hydrated, both orally and topically. Reapply that SPF, especially if you have exfoliants in your routine. And always remember to be beautiful both inside and out. I love you, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.